All of Greenpeace's ships, including the previous Rainbow Warriors, have always been converted ships. But if you really want to make a statement about the 21st century in terms of what new technology can do today, then I think that you have to start from the new, because we could not create a ship with the kind of specification that we have here by converting an old ship. Certainly it wouldn't have been as good from an environmental perspective, and it certainly would have cost us a lot more if we'd even attempted to do it. It's not just a symbol of Greenpeace and its values and what it stands for, and it's got lots of history connected to it in terms of the Rainbow Warrior. This is the third one. But I think it's also in the technology that's in this ship. I mean, the sails are just extraordinary, 1,200 square meters of sail. But it's also got a very efficient engine. The previous Rainbow Warriors have been involved in some of the most iconic battles that the environmental movement have been involved in, including things like nuclear testing, like whaling. Without doubt, the oceans and where this ship will be sailing is of critical importance to the future of our planet.
The helicopter lands here?
Yes.
And what is this?
We can actually put the helicopter inside in case of bad weather. Greenpeace used to own a helicopter, but it was quickly noted that it's actually much more convenient and cheaper to rent one when we need one. We removed the stays that are attached with hydraulic jacks, and we moved the main sail boom to the side, and we opened the whole heli deck to create more space, take everything off, and then it's free for helicopter to land.
The ship is designed to most of the time go under sail whenever we have favorable winds, and this ship does sail really well. The 5 sails we have are quite efficient. We have almost 1,300 square meters of sail area, so we can propel the vessel at 15 knots with sails only. It's all financed by donors, Greenpeace supporters around the world. I think there's 100,000 people that specifically donated money for the ship, but we don't accept any money from large corporations or governments. That way it keeps our independence. And there's a lot of people that want to see a new ship that can meet the environmental challenges we're facing. And one of the biggest issues is climate change. And this ship has a very low carbon footprint. So I think it's an ideal vessel for us to be using for our climate change campaign.
So this is the core of Greenpeace campaigning.
This is the radio room.
Yes.
And it contains all the gear, communication gear that we can communicate with the world. We have 2 satellite antennas. We are live on internet 24 hours a day. This room is also the safety room of the ship. In case of a piracy attack, for example, everybody comes into this room. This is the most secured room on the ship, and it's built to last several hours of breaking attempts from any pirate attacks or special forces or anything. So this is the room to be when there's an emergency. Here's a mess room and the galley, social spaces.
Do you have a cook?
Yes. Walter, do you want to say hello to the camera?
Yeah, please.
You want to say hello to the camera? So Walter, our cook from India.
How many people are you?
We have a 15 of crew, and depending on the situation, usually we have the other 15 campaign people. So we're, for example, now we're 29 people on board altogether. I think we have about 16 or 18 cabins. Most of them are double cabins. Pretty much everybody needs to share a cabin except the captain and the chief engineer and the chief mate.
With shower or without a shower?
With shower.
With shower. Very luxury, isn't it?
Eric?
If all the ships were equipped like ours is, then the shipping industry would be a lot cleaner.
So where's the wastewater treatment, for example?
It's in the noisy room there.
Can we see it?
Yeah.
We consume, with a full ship, with 30 people, 2.5 tons a day. Bacteria that clean it, then it passes through a membrane filter, and then it goes overboard through a UV light, UV filter.
It's the first time that we have such a machine, or is it used already in other...
It's not a prototype, but I've worked at sea for 15 years. I've never seen as fancy as this.
How often, in time of use, will you need the engine?
I don't think a lot.
10%, 20%?
I think that they estimated even less.
Wood from tropical rainforest or not?
The shipyard, it was agreed that they thoroughly checked the materials they use to build the ship. Okay. Of course, because we have to stand on what we say. We cannot deliver a message if we ourselves are using the products that we say that someone else shouldn't use.
These are the boats with which you want to attack whalers, for example.
We can launch the boat within 5 minutes of first notice.
And how fast are they themselves?
Very fast. We have so far done 40 knots. This is where we collect and recycle everything.
Oh!
This is a cold storage for just the organics.
Okay.
So we throw nothing overboard if we're sailing on the waters. That is, it's prohibited. We recycle everything possible. We actually had one person whose job was just to collect all the artwork and all the memories from the Rainbow Warrior 2. I was on the last trip also. We collected them and we put them onto a wall so the memories and the evidence from campaigns through the years live on right here. The ship was a bit of a hospital like when we received it. And
everything in white,
and it still kind of is. We need to paint rainbows everywhere and peace signs, but it helps, these pieces of artwork.
Yeah.